Okay, in this video we're going to complete ortho number 3. So before we begin, let me go ahead and just talk a little bit about what we've done and where we're headed. So if you were here last class period, we completed 2 drawings. We completed ortho 1, we completed ortho 2. And if you were not here last period, I want you with the rest of the class to simply pick up with ortho number 3. So this is the space we're going to be using for our next drawing. Let me also just talk a little bit about this worksheet. If you can put this out in front of you, you're going to notice that there are quite a few drawings we're going to complete today. 8 total. 2 from the last class and 6 more. You'll notice on the top it says disregard measurements. So let's not worry about any of the measurements that are on the paper. You'll notice each one is clearly labeled with the orthographic drawing number. So we did these 2 last period. Now we're going to pick up with number 3. We're then going to move on to 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you can see that we're now including arcs, circles, along with vertical and horizontal lines. Before we start, we're going to read the instructions on the back of this paper. So go ahead and flip this paper over. You're going to see this much clearer on your paper, but follow along with me. First of all, step-by-step instructions. You need a sharpened pencil, an eraser, and obviously your notebook, which has the paper we're going to be drawing in. No rulers, everything is freehand. If you have not set up your paper, your teacher or your substitute should have shown you the instructions on how to set up your paper for these orthographic drawings. You should now have 2 sheets of paper. One paper for ortho 1 through 4, and now a new paper for ortho 5 through 8. Disregard measurements, as mentioned, on the drawings. Take what you see and try to redraw it as accurately as you can. Here are the simple steps. We discussed these in class. Number 1, begin by drawing the front view first with object lines. We're going to be using medium line weight. Number 2, draw your projection lines second. So you're extending from the front view into the top and right side, light lines. We're always looking for corners. And depending on the view, from front to top, look for vertical lines. From front to right side, look for horizontal lines. And last but not least, draw the top or right side view. Doesn't matter which one you decide to start with object lines. Once again, medium weight lines. Use your projection lines as guides. Also remember, you may have to include hidden lines as well, which are also going to be the same weight as object lines, which is medium line weight. Now if you look on the lower half of this paper, here is simply an example of something we did last time you were here. You can clearly see the difference between my object lines, which are darker, and my projection lines, which are lighter. You can also see over here that I included a hidden line, which is a dashed line, which is the same weight as my object lines. So we're going to now go ahead and begin ortho number 3. So let's take a look at this paper. Let's examine this drawing real quick. And here's how the format's going to work. You're going to hear me talk a little bit about the drawing. I'm then going to either draw the front view or not. Your teacher or substitute is then going to pause the video, give you time to complete the missing views. They will then hit play and you'll then watch me draw the remaining views. So let's take a quick look at ortho 3. First of all, we're always going to start with the front view. So you can see that there's these 2 faces. Here's a face and here's a second face. So that's going to be the first thing we're going to draw, is the front view of this object. We're then going to extend our projection lines. We can see that the top view is going to have this face. But if you look here, something has been cut out from the object. We probably will find that there could be some hidden lines or a hidden line in the top view. And then when we draw the right side view, you're looking at the object from this direction. There's a face here, and a face here, along with a face here. So we're going to make sure those faces are drawn accurately. Once again, objects are drawn accurately with the correct use of projection lines. So let's go ahead and I'll get you started. We're going to take this drawing here, so keep it next to you. And we're going to start off by drawing the front view. Remember, we're going to see 1, 2 faces to get this drawing started. So let me begin it, and then you can finish it with the time your teacher is going to give you. So let me go ahead and just zoom in. a little bit to my front view here. Remember, make sure you have enough space for your top view. So here's my front view. Okay, I'm going to go ahead right now and draw what you are also looking at on your paper. We can see right here, it looks like there is this rectangular shape. Remember, I'm drawing with object lines. And then you can see that there's a shape that almost looks like a U on its side. I'm going to draw that second. You probably remember that these drawings were done in Inventor, which is why they probably look very familiar. And I'm going to try to keep things as close as possible to the original. Okay, now once again, draw as close as you can to the original. The reason I made these two different is because one is thinner, one is a little bit wider, and that's why I made these two look different, just like the drawing. So at this point in time, your teacher is going to pause the video. I'd like you to extend any projection lines that you have and then finish the top and right side. So let's pause the video. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you how we finish this drawing. First of all, projection lines. I'm going to find corners and vertical lines. So I should have a projection line here. Keep them light. Here. Another one here. My last one will be here. 4 projection lines. From front to right side, you should have a total of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's take a look at the drawing again. So we can clearly see there's this piece here, kind of looks like an L shape. I'm going to draw that first. So I'm going to extend this line all the way over. I'm going to stop here. As we can see, this is where the drawing stops, the object stops, so I'm going to come down. Now when I draw this next line, I've got to be careful. There's lots of projection lines here. So I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to go up. I'm going to come over. Now I'm going to stop here. If you did this correctly, this represents this cutaway. This should be a hidden line, which once again is a dashed line with medium line weight. Now let's take a look at your right side view. Looking at the drawing, you can see these 2 square or rectangular faces. There's another face here, and there's another piece here. So the way this is going to be drawn, I'm going to start with one part of the puzzle. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw the other part. Now there's these 2 projection lines. Be careful. These projection lines are referring to the lines that go here and the lines that go here. There are no object lines here. Okay? Go ahead and take one last look at the final product. Check your work. And if you were able to get this, congratulations. Let's now move on to Ortho 4.